action. Um, so, with all the PR talk, I figured Goomer22, would come up with I don't know, an interesting way to do them. Uh, this is maybe not more correct, or probably less correct, who knows, um, than just some of the, just subjective PR analysis people do. But I thought, okay, is there a way I can make an objective power rankings? That way, I don't even really have to, look at the teams too much in depth. I can just plug it into this formula and see where they rank. And I was just kind of curious too. So I'm going to go over my process here, and we'll jump into the rankings, and I'll talk about the teams and just kind of initial takes on them. This is pre-transactions. I know some people made some transactions um, during week one, but this is just right after the draft and grace period. So let's jump into it. All right. So the criteria was I was looking for clearly identifiable features for each team, and then I basically give each of these features a point value. I assign points relative to how important each feature is. Now that's my opinion, so that's where this can kind of fluctuate, right? I add up the total points and compare teams, and then I used the average total teams base stats as tiebreakers, because some of the teams ended up with the same total points. But again, there's well, let's jump into it. Let's jump into the formula here. So these were the point values I assigned. So these aren't besides each unique type. All of these criteria just apply once. So if you have a tailwind setter, you get 2 points. If you have two tailwind setters, you still get 2 points. It's just if you have that option on your team, basically. Now, obviously, you can like add stuff, and maybe I can like change up the formula here, So yeah, Trick Room's 2 points. So each unique type you have is, a half a point. So if you have, say my team, I have Swampert, Water Ground. That's half a point for each of those. Then I have Gyarados. Well, I already have Water type, so I get a half a point for the Flying type, but I don't get an extra half a point for the another Water type because, I already have Water. So between Swampert and Gyarados, I would have 1.5 points on unique types. Sorry, Batista. So yeah, Rage Powder's a point. Follow Me's 2 points because it's a little bit more powerful. Prankster's a point. If you have a Mon with a base speed of 120 or greater, you get a point. And a Mon with a base speed of 40 or less, you get a point. I think these are important for just speed ranges for if you're using Trick Room, or if you're even outside Trick Room for the 120 plus, like just forcing your opponents to prep for higher speed Mons. Torn Chomp, that combo's broken, so you get a point for that. Fake Out's 2 points. Terrain Setter, Weather Setter, Intimidate are all a point. Like I said, you can add stuff. I thought about adding like Terrain Abuser, like Unburden, or Weather Abuser, or maybe you add those in combination, right? If you have a Weather Setter and a Weather Abuser, maybe it's 3 points. I don't know. There's ways you can change this up. I just thought it was cool to try and put this to the test and see where everybody ranked. So without further ado, let's jump into the rankings. Rank 24. Trick Room, only 5.5, only 11 unique types. Some good speed ranges and Fake Out. At 11.5 points, we have the Sussex Sableyes. And I think their team is pretty interesting too. That's the thing, is you can grab some of these features with crap Mons or something like that, right? And so the formula isn't perfect, but it's ranked Sableyes last. So I don't know. If you think the formula is working already, let me know. Sableyes are ranked last. They've got the Gemma's cute team, which I think is pretty nice. Glacier and Spectre, I think, are pretty awesome. Mudsdale, Persian Lola especially. Yeah, they've got some interesting stuff going on. So you would think with cuteness, you'd have a low range of types, which I guess 11 is kind of low. Um, I expected more fairies for sure. Only 2 fairies on here. Come on. Um, I forget which pick was Sam's. Was it Bronzor? I can't imagine Bronzor being very cute. But yeah, at least they got a steel type. All right, so let's move on to the next team, ranked 23. Trick Room, 16 unique types, but no fake out. And only speed ranges and intimidate. At 13 points, we've got Gert and the old English ice cubes. Now, I know he did make some transactions to fix some of these things, but I would say, like, just looking at the team, I don't really necessarily think this is a ranked 23 team. But I will say I was surprised to see no fake out. And I don't know, I think Gert maybe even said it too. It's just Cinchino always just seems like it has fake out. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. No fake out from Cinchino. So yeah, Gert doesn't have fake out, which is is tough in this format. But just overall, like you look at like Gert's top 6 mons and you're like, whoa, that's a scary team. And then you look at his bottom 5 and you're like, okay, he could like throw any of these on as filler slots and like really really help out his team. But if you just look at that top 6 right there, that's scary. That's really scary. Okay, so let's jump into the next team. Rank 22. They've got Tailwind, only 11 types, but they do have Follow Me, a Slowmon, Fake Out in Terrain at 13.5 points. We've got the Pogging Porygons. Look at that nice centered logo matrix. Okay, so this is a really scary team too. However, I would say the main gripe I have, which again, I'm pretty sure they made transactions about this, but the Grookie in Tier 5 is just kind of a pure waste. Because I think there are times when people are like, oh, maybe my division's really terrain heavy. I got counter terrain. I'm gonna take Grookie. I don't have fake out yet, which that is their only fake out user, and which isn't ideal because you really don't want to bring Grookie to a match. But I don't get it because they already have grassy terrain. So if you want like a grassy glide user, just pick up a better grass type. But yeah, Grookie was kind of a waste, and I think they might have recognized that. So they they switched that up, which is nice. But again, you have Follow Me and you have Cinderace, which we saw last season. Is really scary with Libero behind redirection. So overall, it's interesting. I think the Wailord could even be switched out. I'm not sure if they switched out the Wailord, but you've got Suicune as a really good water type. So I can't really see too many scenarios where you'd want to bring Wailord over Suicune. Maybe, I mean, there are some for sure, but overall, I think that those low tier picks, you can fill some more niche positions and maybe switch that up and maybe improve your rank with the formula. All right, rank 21, we've got both forms of speed control, Tailwind, Trick Room, only 11 unique types, Prankster, a Fast Mon, and Fake Out, 13.5 points. We've got Batista. So we didn't rank you last, Batista, and this is the formula. And I just kind of came up with this formula, and I was like, I feel like this covers a good amount of team utility, and so we're just gonna apply it, and bam, not ranked last, Mono Dark, which I think is actually fair because this team is scary. Urshifu Single Strike, obviously really good in this format, but you only get 2 points for Fake Out, so that's what he got. However, Batista has 3 Fake Out users, which is just so annoying. Sableye, Weavile, Shiftry. And also, what I think is amazing is you get 11 Mons. And Batista has 11 unique types, which means he only grabbed one type that didn't double up, and that was Zoroark. But so he grabbed Zoroark as his dark, and 10 of his other Pokemon were unique dark, combination types, which I think is just incredible that he didn't have to double up there. So that was really, really. I mean, that's how you know he's a good mono drafter. That's how you know. And this team looks scary to face. Be interesting to see how Saki does against it week 1. But yeah, I think Batista's got a lot of really annoying tools on this team. All right, rank 20, Trick Room, 13 unique types. Follow Me Prankster and some speed. But again, no fake out, which I think could be trouble. I feel like people have been saying this, but I mean, this team just looks like a max team. And the reason being is, like, obviously that Togekiss Dragapult combo is really, really good in draft. Same with Dragapult Cobalion. Red Rock is not bad outside of max, but I do think it is more of a max mon because of the, like, you would do, like, Bulldoze weakness policy stuff or, just any sort of weakness policy with its clear body. Same with Lapras, G-Max Lapras. Everybody talks about as a max mon, but I think Lapras is decent outside of max too. Still really a bulky annoying. Musharna is phenomenal, but like stuff like Cottony, you can use Cottony outside of max. I used it in the Victory Star, but I think that Cottony is better in max because it's one of those. If it it feels like a Purloin or Riolu, right? It's one of those unevolved prankster mons that typically, not saying it can't, but typically is not doing a lot of damage and really just being a full support. And so if you have got this full support, no damage dealer on one side, and then you've got your other mon on your other side just trying to dish out the damage, I mean, they can just focus down that other mon, especially if they have speed control. But the other thing with Cottony is it doesn't have redirection. So if you have like a really frail mon but it's got redirection, at least you can make them target you. Whereas Cottony, you can't. You just have to sort of accept it. And Cottony doesn't quite get as many tools as Whimsicott, if it got Tailwind, I think it would be a lot better. But it's still got some other speed control options too. Liquid with Cloud9 is nice. Trevenant I really like. Swoobat's fine. The Raboot, I'm not one to dog on Tier 5 fire types that much because, I have Heatmore. But I do think there are better options than Raboot, in my personal opinion. So I mean, if I were the Infernapes, I would maybe pick up a fake out user because I think that's just helpful for your opponents to prep for fake out. But even though this looks like a max team, I still think it can function outside of max. I think it could be really interesting, and we'll see what they can do during the season. One of our newcomers. All right, rank 19, both speed control, 13 unique types, terrain, weather, and intimidate. At rank 19, we've got the Shenandoah Sun Warriors. That's a beautiful picture. It almost looks like the Hisui region, but that's a Kanto Arcanine, so can't be. All right, so the Sun Warriors, they have a really, they don't have too many types. They only have 13 types. They double up a lot, but they have good speed control, and they have, honestly, decent power and they have some good utility in combos, right? So you've got the Lele Drifblim for Unburden and hold on here. Why is my battery not charging? Oh, I kicked my battery out. That would have been horrible if I just had to drop the PR and re-record that. Okay, I think we're recording now. or I think we're charging now. Okay, so like I said, they have the Lele Driftbloom combo. That's really cool. They've got the Ninetales Executor combo. I think that little core of like Lele Driftbloom Ninetales Executor is actually really cool too. Um, and then I think Luxray is really, really cool in this format. Three great abilities, or maybe two great abilities. Two great abilities, and just really, really nice. Umbreon, also phenomenal. However, there are some. I think they did make some transactions, and I don't know what they changed, but I do think that a few transactions could really, really help this team. Reason being, you've just got some weird stuff going on. I like that you have Sock as an inner focus mon. However, I almost feel like inner focus wasn't super necessary because you have Psychic Terrain, and you have a Ghost type as Drifblim. So and you have inner focus Umbreon. So like I don't know why Sock was grabbed. Maybe if it was just for a fast inner focus user or something like that. Um, but the weird thing is you have Diggersby Beware as two very strong normal types. Now, obviously, Diggersby, you have a ground type, so that's really cool. But Beware, you've got the normal fighting. And then Sock, you've just got faster but also powerful physical fighting. And then with Luxray and Emolga, you have um, double electric, which double electric can be fine. I'm just wondering what role some of these mons are meant to um, do. You know, maybe he wanted a fast, annoying electric support like a Molga, which is fine because it's faster than Luxray. But if he was going for just like, oh, I want an electric type, you could just keep Luxray as that and switch out Emolga. Even though I do think Emolga is one of the better tier fives. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's like some of the double typing going on could be swapped out for some either different roles or other unique types. I don't know. I think I think it's a solid team overall, but I think it could get a little bit better with transactions. Okay, rank 18, Talon Trick Room, 12 unique types, Prankster, a Slowmon, and Fake Out. We've got the Massachusetts Manitans, and every time this logo creeps me out because our Mantan doesn't have any eyes. So I don't know. It's creeping me out. Anyways, Celesteela I think is phenomenal. Love that pick. Honestly, I know it. Unfortunately, he had to go with like this budget rain mode. I do like that all of the different double up types do something different, right? So you've got Araquanid as a strong physical mon with water bubble. You've got Kingdra as a Swift Swim user, and it's not weak to electric. You've got Seeking as a lightning rod user, or it's Swift Swim, so that's kind of cool. Toxicroak with the dry skin. Sigilyph I've always found a little bit underwhelming, but it could be interesting. I don't know. It's got some decent utility. Pikachu, you've also got another Lightning Rod user and Fake Out, which I do like that he has double Fake Out. That's really nice. Toxicroak and Pikachu. Shiinotic's fine. The biggest issue I have, honestly, is the Regigigas coughing. I just do not like that combo in this format. I think, I think you could maybe use Regigigas. Well, two things. One, I think a lot of the abilities on this team are very important. So shutting off your own abilities is not that great. I think coughing and wheezing when you're using neutralizing gas are usually more defensive. But when they turn off your own abilities, you want to have abilities that are either not that important or abilities that are harmful, like the Regigigas ability. But yeah, I just don't like the Regigigas coughing combo, and maybe that's just me. Maybe Taco can make it work. If he can, go for it. But I just think it's kind of underwhelming in this format. But yeah, we'll see. So rank 17, Trick Room, Rage Powder, 15 unique types, some Fast Mons, and Fake Out. At 14.5 points, we've got the Drowsy Dragazolts. I think some people said that this team looked really just Trick Room heavy and Speed Swap. I think Gumi said that, but they've got so much unique tools on their team, and I don't think it has to heavily rely on Trick Room at all. Even though it seems Trick Room centric, you know, I think it's just so cool. You've got redirection of the Moongus. Stack Attack is really really cool in this format as a Trick Room setter. It's like right, so you've got Stack Attack, a super bulky Trick Room setter. You've got Aromatisse, immune to taunt Trick Room setter. You've got Dusknor, immune to fake out Trick Room setter. I mean, and then you've also got Rabombi, fast, immune to taunt. I mean, you have fake out with Lopunny. You have just a lot of other cool tools, I think. And a lot of Pokemon that can function under Trick Room, right? Octillery, Turtonator, Palisand, Snorlax, Stakataka. I think it's really nice with the Snorlax and the Stakataka to have like fighting immunities and resist too, right? Amoonguss, Rabombi, Aromatisse, Rotom Fan, Palisand. Like so many fighting switch-ins. It can be really tough to get rid of those Pokemon, I think. So, yeah, really cool team comp. And they sound like they know what they're doing, and so yeah, excited to see what the Dracozolt bring this season. Another one of the newcomers to the VDL. Rank 16. So we've got the Bolton Bashers. Wow. All right, this formula's broken. I think I should be up a little bit higher. I'm gonna have to go back and fine tune these points. I think weather should be a lot more important. It should be like 20 points. All right, but I've got Trick Room 15 points, Rage Powder, Fake Out, Weather, and Intimidate. So I like my team. I think it was a little bit more planned out than my my last team, which was still fun. But yeah, I think it's a little bit more planned out. I am really happy with my transactions I made in the grace period to grab Gyarados and Tangela. And I'd say the only kind of unfortunate thing is that I don't have double fake out. But honestly, I love all my mons, so I don't know who I would swap out to get another fake out user. So that's also kind of an issue. But yeah, I'm really excited to try them out. And that's all I have to say. All right, rank 15. Suffolk Suicune. That cheater. Look at him. Suicunes, they were counter drafting me the whole time. It was so clear. I draft Hail, they draft Torkoal. I draft an electric type, he grabs Raichu. I mean, it was obvious. But they barely eked out above me at rank 15 here. And they've got Tailwind and Trick Room. They've got 15 unique types, a Slowmon, a Fake Out Setter, a Fake Out Setter, a Fake Out User, and a Weather Setter. They actually have 2 Weather Setters. But yeah, 15.5 points. Toots' team is interesting because it's like it's really good and synergistic in some ways, but then it's like anti-synergistic in other ways. But I don't think that's necessarily an issue because Toots can always bring like specific mods and specific matchups, right? So like right off the bat, right, you've got Torkoal and Urshifu Rapid Strike. So it's like, okay, well, Torkoal sets the sun, and then Urshifu does less damage with Surging Strikes, but it's like, obviously Toots knows this, and so Toots doesn't have to bring Torkoal and Urshifu in the same matchup, or he can even bring Torkoal. He can even bring Torkoal with a White Smoke or something like that. So I know Toots has got some tricks up his sleeve. So yeah, and like he's got the dual weather, so obviously you don't want weather overriding your own weather. So, but again, he doesn't have to bring Hail and Sun. He can bring Refrigerate and Aurorus. So, but yeah, the Sun also boosting up fire damage, for Corviknight, Leafeon, and Fluffy Double. Maybe not ideal. I don't know. But obviously, yeah, you get the Chlorophyll with Leafeon, and I think Leafeon's a really good Chlorophyll user. I love the Crustal pick. Haxorus, I think, is really cool too. I've always wanted to try Haxorus. I think it's a really interesting mon. But yeah, he's got the Raichu with Lightning Rod for Corviknight and for Rapid Strike, so I really, really like that. And yeah, overall, I think it's a solid team. We'll see how he does during the season. Rank 14, Tailwind Trick Room, 13 unique types, Prankster, Slowmon, Torn Chomp. He might be the only team that grabbed Torn Chomp. It's the Rolled Gold Pretzels and Fake Out. So this team, I think Gumi traded out Caracosta for Ditto. I don't know. I think he traded somebody for Ditto when I dropped it, which is more of a meme, I feel like. But Gumi loves to meme, so I'm sure we'll see that come out during the season. Torn Chomp, I do think, is a really nice combo. Obviously a little weak to ice, but he got himself plenty of ice resists. Magmortar, Aggron, Caracosta, Carbink, Sharpedo. So, yeah. Really scary team. I think Vicavolt's also phenomenal. Levitate Mons, that's really nice. Heracross is a really good pickup in this format, too, because flying coverage isn't as common. Because you have to use, some Pokemon only got Fly or Bounce as their coverage, like Gyarados, for example. So you can't just max Airstream. So that's really nice. Sylveon, I think, is a phenomenal pick. That's a really, really good pick there. And yeah, I actually looked at Caracosta. I didn't think I could find a good way to use it. So if Gumi didn't trade it away, hopefully he can make that work. Sharpedo is also really interesting. I like Sharpedo. Carbink, I think, can do some stuff. So yeah, overall, Gumi's got a nice team here. Almost seems like a little bit of a budget rain mode, because I think Caracosta gets Swift Swim, unless he traded it out. But yeah, Caracosta and Ludicolo. He loves Ludicolo though. Oh man, I'm tired. It's like 5:20 right here. Okay, halfway there almost. Rank 13, Trick Room, 16 unique types, the most we've seen thus far. Prankster, Fast and Slowmon, Fake Out, and Intimidate, 16 points. We've got the Georgia Gurchins. And if I understand correctly, the Gurchins played, I think, in Season 2 or 1 maybe, before I joined. I think they did pretty well. So definitely a scary contender to look out for. They grabbed the infamous Rhyperior to prove Otto wrong against all odds. Also, this team just has like some really, really interesting picks, which I just think is awesome. So they've got Rhyperior for one. They've got Regice, which Regice is interesting. I don't know. I'm interested to see how it does in this team. They've got Mawile, which I always find Mawile to be a little bit underwhelming, but maybe they can make it work, especially in Series 10 format. They've got the infamous Batista Tier 5 at Skunk Tank, which we all know can do work. And then, yeah, Porygon 2, which I think Porygon 2 is a really cool Tier 1 to grab. It's not purely just a bulky Trick Room setter like Dusclops. It can also dish out big damage with download, so I don't think it's a total wasted support Tier 1. I still think it does damage, which is really nice. And then Meowstic Male is phenomenal as a Prankster user. They do have Torcat as well, so the double Intimidate, but maybe they just wanted typing Steel and Fairy with the Mawile. But double Intimidate can also be useful for different situations, so yeah, I like that. Double Fake Out as well. So triple Fake Out. Triple Fake Out. Wow, that's scary. Yeah, this team looks solid. I think they might be in my division too. Okay, rank 12. We've got Trick Room, 16 unique types, Prankster, some Fast and Slow Mons, Fake Out, and Terrain with the South Croydon Soars. I love that logo. That's sick. Okay, this team also has really, really interesting stuff on it. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how they do. So they've got the Terrain, the other Indeedee, and Lipard, which is phenomenal. Like a little bit of a sun mode going on with Charizard Venusaur, but no Sun Setter. Well, I guess you have Lipard Prankster. So yeah, like a budget weather stuff. The Comfey, which I'm not like, I think Comfey is good. I don't know how they plan to use it, so that's very interesting. Pheromosa, which I always thought Pheromosa could be a really cool tier 1 because it is really frail, which sucks, but it's so annoying because of its speed and it's and like yeah, if you sash it, you gotta waste 2 hits on it, and it's just so strong, physical or special, really good utility. So really annoying mon to prep for, in my opinion. The nice lightning rod support from Electric, I love that. Wishy Washy and Doughblade are like 2 of my like goofy favorite mons. Like I just think they're so interesting and silly, and I love that they grab both of them. So fun, and can be pretty good in certain scenarios. So I think that's really really cool. Um, and yeah, they have multiple Trick Room setters too, which is nice. Indeedee, Comfey. Um, so yeah, I think they've got some nice speed control and utility, and just a lot of interesting stuff going on. So good luck to them, unless they face me, which I think they might. Are they in my division too? I can't even remember. All I know is that I played Toots week 1. That's all I focused on. All right, rank 11. We've got we're into the second half now. Tailwind, 13 unique types, Rage Powder, Prankster, Fast Slowmon, Fake Out, Terrain Setter, Intimidate, 16.5 points. We've got Rebellion. Yeah, love the new logo. Sorry, I grabbed the blurry version, I guess. Yeah, this team is awesome. And for more reasons than grabbing Stunfisk Galar. Regieleki. I really consider grabbing Regieleki. I think it's just so good in this format. And always. I mean, Regieleki is just a phenomenal mon. Arcanine I think is great. Surfetched I really wanted to try. Blissey I've used before in a max format, but in non-max I think it's also awesome, and it's Lucian. So I think Lucian actually made a few transactions too. I forget who he traded away though. I think he traded away the Riolu and something else. I can't remember. But I think Butterfree is also really annoying. I like the Butterfree pick with the Rage Powder, and it gives you Tailwind. Yeah, I think it's really good. I think grabbing a Trick Room setter would have been nice. I'm not sure if he traded for a Trick Room setter, but I think a Trick Room setter would be really, really helpful in this team. And yeah, Thwacky is his only Fake Out, which isn't the worst. I think Thwacky is doable, but Grooky is just like, Grooky's too weak. Thwacky is fine. Yeah, we saw Clopsy use it well last season, so yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, Weezing to turn off ability is really really interesting, and gives him a terrain option. So yeah, I guess he's got double terrain here. So interested to see how Lucian hexes people this season. I'm waiting for the Specs, Zap Cannon, and Alecki to come out. One game, you got to bring it, Lucian. Specs, Zap Cannon, Alecki. All right, rank 10, into the top 10 now. Both speed control options, Tailwind Trick Room, 15 types, Fast and Slow Mon, Fake Out Terrain, just really solid overall, 16.5 points. We've got the Welsh Wailords, Matrix. I mean, right off the bat, Tabu Fini, super good in this format. Really, 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 really annoying. I hope that Saki doesn't have to play this team. Crobat, also really cool. Inner Focus, Tailwind, Speed Control options, and which is really nice when you have some really strong Pokemon, which this team does. Bouffalant, Darmanitan, Drampa, but Drampa's kind of slow. This team actually is interesting because they have like really slow mons and really fast mons, and a little bit of in between. But yeah, it seems like it's a little bit all over the place, which is fine because they have a phenomenal Tailwind setter and a phenomenal Trick Room setter, both of those immune to Fake Out. And yeah, and then they've got damage in the middle, so that's going to be really tough to deal with. Mindshow's a phenomenal Fake Out user too with Inner Focus. So yeah, I also love Morpeko. I really wanted to pick it, but I mean I already had an electric type, and I was like, oh well. But yeah, I think Morpeko is really, really cool. So I want to see how Matrix uses the Morpeko. All right, rank 9, Tailwind Trick Room, 15 unique types, Rage Powder, a Slowmon, Fake Out in Terrain, 16.5 points. We've got the Beantown Bionicles, one of our new contenders here from the VBA. Yes, we know that they helped Sam with some of his prep last season, and Sam got second overall, so we know that they're probably pretty good. And they have got some interesting stuff here. So you've got, right off the bat, the electric mode. That's really scary. Some had that last season. But Raichu also just gets Fake Out, so it's a good mon to have. Got Altaria to shut down weather stuff. Volcarona for redirection. Gorgegeist, with its multiple forms as well, is so annoying. Barraskewda to ignore opposing redirection. Hitmonlee for more Fake Out on Burden. And then, in case all that isn't enough, he can just be like, you know what? I don't like your abilities. I'm turning them off. Go Wheezing. Yeah. And I think Glaceon, Lurantis, and Obstagoon are also great low-tier picks as well. So this is a scary team. This team has a lot going for it. And yeah, I'm really interested to see how they do. Favorite pick here is for sure Barraskewda. I love Barraskewda. I think it's really, really cool. And I feel like nobody ever drafts it. Or maybe they do and they don't use it well. I don't know. I feel like it never makes like a splash, if you will, in the VDL. So yeah, hopefully they can use Barraskewda well. All right, rank 8. Tailwind Trick Room, 17 types. Prankster, Slowmon, and Fake Out. We've got the Pacific Slowbros. I love their team breakdown. I think they're really, really obviously Otto always drafts really, really good stuff, and like the synergy is way more apparent in those team breakdown videos. But even now, the formula ranked him 8, so that's pretty close. I mean, it was 7 off, but it was still the formula did pretty well. So yeah, I really like this team composition. Golduck and Sandaconda are 2 of my favorite mons, so not gonna say I'm rooting for Otto to get 3-time champ, but I don't want Sandaconda and Golduck to do terrible. So, however, I a little bit want Latias to do terrible because of last season. So, yeah, I wouldn't be unhappy about that, I don't think. But yeah, I like the reasoning. Oh, and Walrein. But but yeah, I like the reasoning for a lot of these picks in his video, and it makes sense. Um, I don't know if Otto intentionally tried to grab the most types. Seven, he the only thing he didn't grab is Bug, and I think he just really doesn't like Batista, and so that was what he told me. He specifically didn't grab Bug because of that. So could have maybe had all 18 types, but yeah, I don't know if Otto intentionally tried to grab all those types, or if it was just like he needs to switch in for this, and this mod made sense, and it gave him more types, because that just naturally makes sense. If you need more switch-ins and coverage and stuff, you're going to grab more types. So, I don't know. It's interesting. Rank 7, Tailwind Trick Room, only 12 types, but a lot of utility with Rage Powder, Prankster, Fast and Slow Mon, Fake Out, Weather Setter. We've got the Tyranitartar sauces. I really like this team. One of my Doug bros, so obviously have to like it. Doubled up on a ton of types, only 12 types, but I think that's fine, especially with like a team like this. So like yeah, 3 water types: Polytoad, Poliwrath, Mantine, but at the same time, like they do a lot of different stuff, right? Polytoad's the weather setter. You've got 2 different Swift Swim users, which do very different things: physical, special, different typings, flying and fighting, so different coverages and whatnot. And so yeah, I think that's fine. Really like the Bronzong. I really almost drafted Bronzong. I think it's really, really cool. And it's always hard to find good steel types, and I think Bronzong is one of them for sure. Bronzong is just super annoying, and it's yeah, it's got really good abilities, so I like that pick. I like the Fungus and Gardevoir. Fungus is great budget for the Rage Powder and Spore and the annoying stuff. Raikou also great. We saw Clopsia use it last year. The only thing I'm really not a fan of is Purloin. It gave him Fake Out, because that's his only Fake Out user, and Prankster. So a way to set rain without Politoed. But like, I just am not a fan of it. Normally I would be in Max, but without Max, it's got this sort of the Cottony issue, right? It's typically not doing a ton of damage, and it's pretty frail, so it's just gonna get bopped pretty easily. So yeah, I don't know though. If people who drafted these unevolved prankster mods, Riolu, Purloin, Cottony, I mean, prove me wrong. Show me that they can do work in non-max. Rank 6, Tailwind Trick Room, 14 unique types, Fast Slow Mon, Fake Out, Terrain Weather, 17 points. Which I think the max is, let's see, 22 is the max. No, 23, because Follow Me is 2. Wait, 23, plus you could technically have 2 more points. 25. 25 is the max. If you had every type and then all of these options, which you don't need all of these options, because, Torn Chomper really isn't as good as people say it is, and you only need Rage Powder or Follow Me usually. And if you have like Weather Setters and Weather Abusers, sometimes you don't even need a Fast Bond because you get that speed control. So, anyways, yeah. Rank 6, the Alexandria Arcanines. Again, no eyes. What is it with the no eye Pokemon, people? Creeping me out. Okay, but this team has some really cool synergy. I really like it. Just like the Rillaboom, Heatran, Latios. That little like core is super annoying. I was wondering if someone else was going to get the other Hail mode, because I was grabbing a little bit more expensive Hail mode, and the budget one looks real good. So yeah, the Arcanines clearly recognize that. I was looking at Glurk actually as my ground type for a while as well, and they got it. So that's really interesting. I looked at Audino as my Trick Room setter, but I really wasn't a fan of it. So I'm interested to see how they use Audino. Yeah, Magneton's phenomenal. Escavalier's pretty good. Silvally, On paper, I swear it always looks so good, but I've never been able to use it well, and I haven't really seen other people use it that well. I mean, decently, sure, but I'm really interested to see if the Arcanines can use that Silvally really well, because I feel like it feels like glue, and then when you are prepping with it, it like the glue melts, and it just doesn't do much. I don't know. I don't know. That's just me. So yeah, rank 6. They were ranked 1 in their PR. Coincidence, big coincidence. Dan's PR is ranked 1. So yeah, I think the formula may be a little bit better job of adjusting that bias down. 5 spots. So all right, let's jump into the next thing. Rank 5. Tailwind Trick Room. Only 11 types, but tons of utility with Follow Me, Slowmon, Fake Out, Weather Terrain, and Intimidate, putting them up to 17.5 points. We've got the Royal Kingdras. I do play them this season, but I don't know if they're in my division. This team, though, like, here's the thing. Although the formula has all this utility, and I think they do have some really interesting stuff on their team, I am not a huge fan of a couple picks, specifically the low tier picks, Fletchling and Vulpix. I don't think you need, especially with Pelipper, like, all right, here's what it is. If you're going with Beartic speed control, you might as well run Swift Swim with Pelipper because it reduces the fire damage, and Pelipper can cover for the fighting types. So I don't know why you would ever go Vulpix Beartic for the Hail mode, unless you like were facing a rain team and didn't want to use their rain. Like that, and Pelipper is just objectively a better mon than Vulpix. So I don't really love the Vulpix down there. I think you can swap it out for a better tier 5 maybe. Fletchling gets Tailwind, but so does Pelipper again. So I don't know. I don't get that. That's it seems weird to me that you would want to go with Tailwind there, but I don't know. I mean, obviously it's like priority Tailwind, but it's a Fletchling, so Togepi I'm fine with. Togepi, great, love it. I think the synergies in this team is really cool. Pinchurchin, you've got Terrain and Lightning Rod. You've got really strong power with Renucleus and Landorus Incarnate and Azelf. You've got some good support and bulky, annoying mons like Scrafty and Registeel. So I think there's totally stuff this team can do. I just feel like the last 2 picks are kind of wasted, and I wouldn't even bring them ever if I were them. So, yeah. Really interesting team, and one of our newcomers. So, that's the other thing is sometimes some of these teams from the newcomers, we haven't seen them play, and we may have this internal like bias to rank them a little bit lower because we're like, we can't really see what they're doing with. Whereas if somebody else drafted this team that we know does well, Clopsia or Otto or somebody, and we're like, oh, they drafted this team. Okay, it may not look great, but we know they're going to do great. But you know what? That was all taken out of this anyways because this is an objective ranking, and they're 5. So I didn't even that's all taken out of it for this PR. But yeah, top 5, Royal Kingdras. Let's move on to 4. All right, so Talent Trick Room, another 17 type team. Prankster, Slowmon, Fake Out, Intimidate. It's the MK Mimikyus. Really like these low tiers in contrast to the other one. Stonejourner, Porygon, Vullaby. I don't know. Yeah, I think those are actually really, really good low tier picks. You can throw Eviolite on Porygon and Vullaby and make them really bulky. Stonejourner is a great support and very strong. So that's awesome. This team just has a lot of cool power and yeah, I mean, you've got Chandelure, Mamoswine, Lucario, Glisspod's also really strong, just like Stonejourner. So you've got Whimsicott support with that. Um, and yeah, the Intimidate, Fake Out with Hip on top. So I really like a lot of these tools. 3 Trick Room setters, 4 Trick Room setters if Starmie gets Trick Room. No, wait, 5 with Porygon. Wait, how many Trick Room setters does this have? Whimsicott, Chandelure, Exeggutor, Lola. Starmie might get it. And Porygon. There might be 5 Trick Room setters here. Oh my gosh. You've also got Vullaby and Whimsicott. I think both get Tailwind. Um, but yeah, I'm no surprise that this team is ranked high. I think they've got a lot of options, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of big range of speed tiers, and lots of speed control options. So, yeah, and they're going to be dishing out big damage too. So, I'm really interested to see how this team does. I think they are in my division, so that's not good. But, yeah. Rank 3. We've got Tailwind and Trick Room, 15 types, Fast and Slowmon, Fake Out, Weather, and Intimidate. At 17.5 points, we've got the Norwegian Darmanitans. No surprise there. They always craft together really, really good synergistic teams, and we've seen that from the formula. I really like Spritzy as their low tier. I think it's great. I think Incineroar looks awesome. I really considered it in this draft. Like, I would have loved to get Incineroar as a second tier 1. I didn't necessarily want to get it as my first tier 1, but I knew there was zero chance I was ever going to get it as my first, as my second tier 1, because yeah, people would snag it up like Colopsia did, recognizing its power. And yeah, Metagross also really, really good. I like to see how he uses it. Tornadus, I actually was not a fan of it. I know I had to use it in the Victory Star tour, but I think it's one of those mons that literally feels like it gets twice as much more value in Max. You don't really use its ability that much in Max formats, but the fact that it gets so much coverage and you get stab, special, or physical Max Airstreams is so good. And because of its speed, because you get 121 base speed Max Airstreams in Max formats. So I really like that. I'm sure Colopsia will find good ways to use it outside of Max, but I actually was not a fan of it outside of Max. Cursola, I think, is a really cool pick. Hippowdon is interesting. It's a really, really good value for its tier. However, Colopsia did not pick up a Sand Rush user. So that was interesting. Yeah, I still think Sand can be good for the team, changing opposing teams' weather. Obviously, Hippowdon doesn't get the special defense boost from Sand, which is kind of annoying, but only being ground type is helpful because, if it was like ground and rock, it'd be 4 times weak to water and grass. So, but yeah, some really, really cool stuff on this team, and I'm interested to see what Colopsia does. Rank 2. We've got Tailwind Trick Room, 16 unique types, Follow Me Prankster, Fake Out, Intimidate. It's the Brisbane Blazekins. And wow, is this team scary. I would say pretty much every mon on this team is pretty intimidating, except for Xatu, maybe Quillfish, which it makes sense because they're lower tiers, but like everything else is really scary. Like Clefable has redirection, and it's like a good, powerful fairy type. So like, I think it's like maybe 95 special attack or something like that. Like if you throw off a Moonblast, like Clefable can do work. Entei, I loved it last season. Super good. Blastoise, I think, is one of the best fake out picks, and just such a good water type too. Really good in draft, I would say. Buzzwole, the Blazekins used last season phenomenally, so that's also really scary. Duraludon ignores redirection and super powerful, and it's behind redirection, so that's like a double whammy there. Rotomo, great low tier pick. I always find the Rodoms really interesting, how some are ranked like really high and some are ranked really low, whereas, I get it that objectively Rotom Heat and Wash are probably better, but I think Rotom-O is like, in theory, right? It's like just as good as Rotom Heat. It's like because of its solo typing, it gets Overheat, Leaf Storm. They do the exact same thing, but just for their type. So with the right composition, I think they can do similar stuff. I guess you can argue that fire typing, fire electric with levitate in general is better than grass electric, but I don't know. I think Rotom-O is a great value pick. Morgrim, I'm not a super big fan of, but I think the Blazekins like it, so that's fine. Gives you Prankster and more fake out options, and then Berserker. So again, another team that we've seen with triple fake out. That's actually insane. I did not expect it. I expected to see some double fake out teams. I didn't expect to see 3 triple fake out teams. And Pilospon's actually a really good low tier pick, so I do like that. And to fill out some more of those typings, Ice and Ground. So no surprise why this team is ranked so highly. Yeah, really, really scary. Rank 1 with Talent and Trick Room, 7 unique types. Follow me. 14 unique types. Follow me. Fast and Slowmon, Fake Out, Terrain, Weather, and Intimidate. We've got the Somerville Scraggies returning after a season hiatus of studying the meta and the team compositions, carefully crafting this to be rank 1. And you know what? I think I goofed. I don't think they have. So they don't have. I forgot to update the total column. They don't have 17.5 points. They have 20 points actually. So they blew everyone out of the water. So yeah, their total is 20 points. And you know what's I think it's funny. Well, I'm sure everyone's thinking this. Is there's no surprise that the team that picked Indeedee Female is ranked number 1 because it's the best mon, right? But at the same time, is it a coincidence that the only team that picked Bolton is ranked number 1? I don't know. The formula seems to be doing its job. I don't know. So that's all I'm saying. But yeah, this team really, really, really good. I love all of these picks, to be honest. I think there's some really, really cool stuff here. You've got the Gigalith Stoutland weather mode. Indeedee Female is just amazing, but you've also gotten Burden with Slurpuff. I think Magmar and Spiritomb are really, really good value low tier picks. Abomasnows also got a different type of weather, but also just I think it's just a strong Pokemon in general. Can go physical or special. Obviously kind of weak to fire, but Gigalith deals with that well. Slowking, an excellent Trick Room setter, and just annoying Pokemon in general. I think that's a good solid pick. And then you've got Noivern and Bolton for really, really fast mons that you have to deal with if you're not dealing with weather or terrain. Unburden or Stoutland, so it's just annoying. And yeah, so just good ways of speed control, good ways of utilizing the abilities, a bunch of the types. I mean, this team really has it all. So makes sense why it was ranked so highly. And as a bonus, I have a couple, honorable and dishonorable mentions, if you will. So, just for fun, because I went through everyone's base stats, I figured I would put together a little slide highlighting the teams with the highest and lowest base stat of each category. And this might be due to 1 mon or 2 mon on their team, and so it might be kind of obvious, but I still find it interesting. So, with the highest HP, we've got Rebellion. They grabbed Blissey, so no surprise there. That's going to bring up your average a ton. The lowest was the Kingdras, which I think the Kingdras, yeah, they were the team with the Fletchling and the Togepi and the Vulpix, Alola. So makes sense if you're picking some of those lower. Not that they can never do something for your team, but if you are picking those like 2 week mons or those lower evolution mons for either Eviolite or Sash to fill a niche, yeah, that's gonna bring your base stats down for sure. Um, so, and who knows? Maybe base stats should be more incorporated into the formula rather than just as a tiebreaker. But there are some things like base stats don't always 100% matter. For example, if you're comparing like Conkeldurr and say I don't know, Rhyperior, like one of those has a higher special attack stat, but that doesn't affect anything. So like, or if you have Pokemon with higher or lower attack stats, now that can affect stuff with foul play and whatnot. But like generally, if you're if you're attacking, or if you're a special attacker, your attack stat doesn't matter. If you're an attacker, your special attack doesn't matter. So taking those into account doesn't always make sense, and speed doesn't always make sense either because you could be drafting a really really slow team and have a bunch of trick room options, or you could be drafting a really fast team and you don't have trick room, and then trick room screws you up. So yeah, it's base stats is kind of hard to evaluate, I think. But we've got Slowbros with the highest attack stats. Um, Slowbros had like Terrakion and Grimmsnarl, and I think Klinklang has decent attack. So yeah, I guess I could see that. I forget who else they have, but Otto. I know Otto likes his high base stats for his offensive mon, so it makes sense that he's got high attack stats. And the sauces, not really physically threatening apparently. They've got that Rain team, which Rain usually is special attackers, so I guess that makes sense. Um, but yeah, all right. With defense, we've got the Drowsy Dracozolt. They have Stack Attacka, so it makes sense. But they've also got Trick Room, which, if you are going like Trick Room stuff, you really don't have to invest as much in speed, and you probably have Pokemon with higher offenses or defenses. So probably lacking on the speed, but um, not a bad move because then you have Mons with higher base stats in the other categories. And Rebellion has the lowest defense, which they grab Blissey. So that kind of makes sense. Special attack. We've got the South Croydon Saurs. So they have that Indeedee team with Charizard and Venusaur and Liepard. And yeah, I think it makes sense. A really, really good special attacker team. Um, and the Rabombies. Which makes sense, actually, that they have the lowest special attack of any team because they have Dark. And Dark typically does not have very many special attackers. And they actually didn't even get the main special attackers. I mean, they have Zoroark, but I would say Hydreigon and Moltres Galar are like the main special attacking Dark types. And they didn't get them. For Spadef, we've got the Tyranitar sauces, which I think kind of makes sense because, well, does it? I don't know. I mean, they've got Moltres. They've got some rain Pokemon, Raikou, all good special D. So I guess that does kind of make sense. So that's pretty interesting. On the low side, we've got Batista again. Yeah, Dark types don't have great special defense, I guess. Hopefully Batista can account for that. But a little bit lacking on the special side, which is interesting because Dark is, I guess Dark, I think back in the older gens, Dark used to be a special type, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. All right, so then with the fastest and slowest team, we've got the Beantown Binacles with the fast team, which is interesting because they have that electric terrain mode, which that just makes you even faster. So they've already got a fast base speed team, and they've got that terrain mode. So that's really, really cool. And the slowest team, I mean, makes sense. It's the Dracozolt. They went for a lot of Trick Room users. But, like I said, that gives you more options to boost your base stats in other ways. And at the same time, I don't think they have to use Trick Room every game. I think they have more options than that. And that's not... And not modes that are like totally obvious. So I think it's really cool. Now, for the final, the total base stats, we've got the Slow Bros, which uh, if you watch their video, it makes a lot of sense. So for one, didn't grab an EV-Elite user because an EV-Elite user is gonna lower your base stats initially, but then obviously when you tack on the EV-Elite, they're boosted. So didn't grab an EV-Elite user, and he said he had base stat requirements for his physical and special attackers and some other benchmarks he wants to hit for the other stats. So makes absolute sense that the Slow Bros have the highest base stat total of any team. Now for the lowest, we've got the Kingdras, which that also makes sense considering their 3 low tiers, which probably really bring that down in Vulpix, Fletchender, and Togepi. I mean, those 3 alone, that's just going to trash your stats. But again, you don't have to bring them every game, so like they still have a decent team. And they were ranked 5. So, like I said, maybe base stats has nothing to do with it. But I just thought it was interesting, something to check out. And I don't know. Auto usually does pretty well, so maybe it does have something to do with it. So we will see. But that is my objective PR by Goomer22. If you have suggestions on how to change the formula, or if you liked it, or if you didn't like it, or if you, I don't know, any other things you want to mention, just throw them in the comments or the Discord. And yeah, I hope you guys liked it. That's going to be it. Peace out.